Namaskar. What I'm about to tell you is something that's very important. You may not have a green card, but this will apply to all those who are actually coming to US for various purposes, whether it's business or personal. I think the bar to scrutinize you upon entry has just been raised. And this green card scrutiny, the rules that are being given now, see, there is no change in overall rules. So in other words, there is no Congress passing a new law for the green card holders to obey. No, but what it is a tighter interpretation of the existing rules and a little bit more leeway for the immigration officer to exercise in case he or she is not convinced that you have made America your place of permanent residence. Remember, the green card is a permanent resident card. In other words, you have to show intent that you are essentially somebody who lives in the United States and you visit abroad for various reasons, family emergencies, weddings, funerals, or just visit for some other purposes like sightseeing, tourism, and so on and so forth. But if the officer finds that you have a pattern, for example, you are in United States for 6 months, you go abroad for 6 months, then this becomes a bit of a problem. They can ask you a lot of questions. For example, they can ask you, do you have any leases that need to be renewed? What is your status here? What do you do when you are in the United States? What are your sources of income? And have you paid taxes in the United States? Remember, this is a very important question. Now, the immigration officers are believed to have access to your accounts. In other words, they may have your credit rating data, they may have your tax filing. If they have your tax filing, then they know exactly what you have been doing while living in the United States. So you cannot bluff your way through this. So I'll tell you what you need to carry with you towards the end, but I want you to look at YouTube and look for new rules for green card holders. This came into effect on the 5th of July. Please go through as many videos as you can so that you be armed to face the questioning that you might be asked when you are coming in. For about a year or so, I've noticed that there is no more stamping happening on your passport when you enter the United States. We know that United States never stamped your exit, at least for the last 40-45 years that I know of. And so there is no record of you having been in or out on your passport. You can't use your passport to say, well, this is when I was living in the United States. So you need to document when you left and when you came back. And when you are abroad, what was the reason for staying there for 2 months, 3 months? See, sometimes you can fall sick while you are abroad, so you need to have medical attention. So for that, you have to say that anything is okay as long as you can come up with a plausible, reasonable explanation as to why you are spending so much time abroad. Also remember, viewers, a green card is given to you with the intent that you will go on to become a citizen of the United States. See, green card is also called immigration and naturalization. It's called the certificate of naturalization, and you are now a legal alien. These are all parlances used by the INS. I'm just trying to clear to you. If you are an illegal alien, those are people who came in without proper documents. But if you're legally in the United States, you are a legal alien. And if you have a green card, you have the permanent residency card. Permanent residency itself means that you are residing permanently in the United States. So you may be asked, like, for example, do you have utility bills to prove that you actually pay bills in the United States? Now ask yourself this question. If you are going regularly for 3 months abroad, just making a simple case here, what happens if, for example, the last week before you leave for the for your foreign destination, you get a traffic ticket, right? Then what happens is that ticket is going to come to you by mail. And if you have already told the mail to be collected and kept in the post office, how will you know that you have been served a ticket? What about jury summons? That's also coming by mail. What about a tax investigation? Income tax sends you a letter. It doesn't inform you by phone. All these things are things that have to be considered, because if you skip a jury summons and if you don't respond to them, then you could potentially be arrested upon arrival. So these are all, I'm saying an extreme example. I'm sure you can say, that doesn't happen. But read the fine print when you have got a jury summons letter. As this is for the citizens of United States, but I think even a green card holder may be asked to come and serve as jury. I'm not 100% sure on this, but I would want to, I want you to be sure. For example, one of the things you can do is if you're going abroad for any amount of time, make sure that somebody collects your mail and goes through it and, flags you on some of the important stuff at least. Don't let it be sitting in the United States Postal Service. See, this is only in those cases when it is possible. If you are the sole person in your family, then there is a problem, right? You don't want to leave your mail sitting in your mailbox. Somebody can steal it. That could cause other problems also. So all these things are things that they are going to be looking at when you come back. And this is for green card holders. And I'm just expanding or extending this argument for what happens if you are on work permit like H1, J visas, and L visas, and H4, which is the spouse of H1. All people, you will have to produce some sort of identification or form saying you are employed, that you have a job, and you have been filing taxes, and also when you leave United States for a foreign country, be sure that you have a return ticket. If you go with a one-way ticket, that could also tell the officer that you don't intend to stay in United States for a long period of time. And if you're buying a return ticket from, say, let us say India, and then going back, that could also flag saying that you probably have a primary residence in India. Again, this is subjectivity. You may be able to explain your way out of this. You may not be detained, but you may be set off with a warning. But I'm just telling you, be prepared for this. So what are the things you will want to carry with you? A latest copy of a latest utility bill, copy of the at least the main pages of your tax filings. You can have, if you have any lease agreements, like for example, if you're renting a property where you live, you can show that agreement. A job letter to say that you are employed here, things of that nature. Even it might be even your utility bill, like the last electricity bill that you paid. All these things to establish the fact that you are permanently residing in the United States. One off the left field question that could get asked. See, what happens is once you get a green card, and if you have established a residence in, or if you have lived in the United States for up to 5 years, I mean, you count every day you lived in the United States, then you become eligible for citizenship. And the immigration officer could ask you a very simple question. Now, you have been a green card holder for 15 years. Why did you not apply for citizenship? Please be careful when you answer this question, because this is a very, very subtle one. I'm not a lawyer. I'm definitely not an immigration lawyer. You need to go through and understand how to answer a question like this. I'm not scaring any one of you. This might never get asked, but these are all things that are expected. This is where I'm talking about intent. Why was your intention of getting a permanent residency card? Where do you intend to live in the United States permanently and visit other places? No problem visits, 1 week here, 1 week there. Hey, you are in your golden years, you would like to go see places. Nobody's stopping you from doing that. But be prepared, be armed with the right kind of documentation so that you don't get an unpleasant surprise upon landing. Oh, another thing, make sure that you have the contact of the immigration lawyer in the city where you are entering into the United States, just in case. Just in case. And as far as other people on work permit visas, I would highly encourage you to have all these things that I've mentioned now, so that you know that you can conclusively prove that you are part of an employment. But if you are employed, and even for a green card holder, right? If you go away for 3 months, they can still ask you, hey, how is it that you're able to work away from your place of work for 3 months? Then you'll have to explain, look, mine is like a part remote job. I can work like this, and it's been something that has been established. I don't want to put words in your mouth. You need to understand how to answer these questions, because each one's situation could be slightly different. So I think I have explained what these things are. These are already in effect. If you are just coming back from any travel abroad, remember to at least, you may be able to print many of these things online, whichever country you are, make a printout of it, because at the point of arrival, if your phone doesn't connect to internet or it's too slow, you're going to increase your own blood pressure more than anybody else. So forearmed is forewarned. Make sure that you have all these data. Just have a small thin flyer binder and keep updating it when you go abroad. I'm sorry to make it sound like it is more difficult than ever, but this is what I'm seeing. Lots of videos now on internet, on YouTube and other social media platforms about how a green card holder needs to get prepared for answering all these kinds of questions. Subjectivity is with the immigration official. You may be able to ask, look, I need to speak to my lawyer, or they may just ask you to go talk to the supervisor of the immigration officer, and you may be able to make a case there. Often you will not have a problem, at least the first time. You may be warned, and after that, if you continue to do that, at some point of time, you're establishing a track record, and that could kind of convince the officer that you don't really reside in the United States. And I don't know, they may even take away your green card. Again, I don't want to be a scaremonger here, viewers. That part I have not read so far, that you could be disqualified. I think there is a court process involved to get you disqualified as a green card holder also. Again, I'm not an immigration lawyer. Let's not go that far down, right? Just make sure that you have the information you need. Many of you are probably at this point living abroad on a green card. So whoever it is, if you have friends and family who have in this situation, please pass this on. I'm going to try and keep adding more links in the reference section as and when I find something more useful, more specific to this cause. So come back to this video, look at the description and the reference link section. You may have more videos also. Take a look at it and just make sure that you are well prepared. I am seeing here, I don't see any questions, but here are some interesting observations. Vijay Singh is saying, maybe this is an excuse to seize property of green card holder in US to make compensation for government debt. I don't know. I think they just want to make sure that only those who want to live permanently, reside permanently in United States, be given the green card. Nothing wrong in that. Look, everything here, your green card, your citizenship, is being done because you are contributing to this society, this country. Think about it that way. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.